Los Angeles, California. If you have ever heard this podcast before, you already know the program. When you see me type one letter as the title of the program, what does that mean? That means I didn't have time to type a full name. That means I'm live and on the road and driving and didn't have time to type a title. That's what that means. Okay? That's all it means. That's it. That's all. That's all it means right there. Yes, that's all it means right there. That's all it means right there. Okay? So, do me a favor, ladies and gentlemen. If you're listening to this podcast, give me a call and let me know you heard it. 213-377-8681. 213-377-8681. 213-377-8681. Call me and let me know that Spreaker.com is not defrauding me. And I'm serious. It may sound like I'm joking. I want to know that they're not lying to me. They tell me that I have all these listeners in San Jose. Somebody, anybody, you. Quit saying, well, the next person's going to do it. I'm sure somebody will do it. I ain't got time to do it. I want you. That way I know somebody will call. To call me or text me. You know, if you don't want somebody having your phone number, come on, y'all. You know, you can dial star 67 or whatever that is and disguise your number. I don't even know what the number's called. Where you calling me from? 213-377-8681. Or send me an email at shermandmanning@gmail.com and simply tell me that you heard the podcast. That's not too much to ask, is it? Please do so with deliberate speed today. If you heard this podcast, if you are listening to this podcast in Delaware, in San Jose, in Israel, in Timbuktu, wherever you are, please text or call 213-377-8681 or send an email to shermandmanning@gmail.com. This way I will know that the statistical data with which I've been provided is authentic and not a lie. And I can keep doing the podcast. If nobody calls, it makes me think no one is listening. And if no one is listening, I don't need to do the podcast. Can you do that for me? Let me know. 213-377-8681. Call me now. Trump is the first president, the first fake president ever, and the first president in 36 years to skip the White House Correspondents' Dinner. And he skipped it for only one reason, and one reason only, and that was because he was afraid of being clowned. He can't take a joke. He can't take a joke. My problem with that psychologically is that if we have a man who's too thin-skinned to take a joke and to joke about himself in a self-deprecating manner, then how is he going to deal with Kim Jong-un? How is he going to deal with Putin? Or is he just going to cave to Putin and relinquish all of the sanctions placed by President Obama, who according to them was supposed to be weak on terrorism, even though he was stronger than any Republican president we've ever seen? See, these guys engage in bluster and then call that being tough. You know, it's like the guy who threatens to kick your butt and tells you what all he'll do to you and then calls that tough, because he has a good, as we call, mouth game. But his fight game, quite often, is weak as water. So all of the tough sanctions placed on Putin and Russia by the Obama administration, Donald is just planning to cave and relinquish those sanctions, sort of as payback to Putin for all of Putin's work and effort in helping get this fake president elected. This is wrong. This is sad. This is nuts. And we should not sit by and let it happen unchallenged. You all should be organizing and strategizing and galvanizing. We should be doing several things as church people, as Christians. We should be engaging in corporate prayer for this president to fail at trying to do away with Obamacare. That's what we should be doing. We should also be engaged socially. We should be organizing groups of teams to call the White House routinely and voice our opinions. We should be calling our congressmen, our United States representatives, our senators, and letting them know that we want Obamacare to stay in place. And that when you come back to the district and want my vote, you're not going to get it if you don't protect my health care. We should organize and galvanize. Organize, organize, organize. Call the White House. Call your United States Senator. Call your congressman or congresswoman. And let your voice be heard and make your opinion known. Don't just sit back and take it like you can't do anything about it. This is a democracy. We live in a democracy. And if you ask me, we live in the greatest nation on earth. And so we have checks and balances, and we have redress. And there are things that we can do when we don't like what's going on. We can recall a president if we wanted to. We can impeach a president if we wanted to. We have a lot that we can do. We have lots of power. And the problem is, a lot of people don't exercise their power. They're not aware of the power that they have. They just want to sit somewhere in a corner and complain. He's not my president. Well, I'm sorry, but he is. He is the president. And when you are the president, you are our president, whether we like you or not. Okay? And I've even said he's not my president, but at the end of the day, he actually is. I don't want him, but he's, it's almost like a mother having a child that she doesn't want, puts him up for adoption. That's a terrible example. I don't make light of that. God bless the child when that happens. This is a metaphor, ladies and gentlemen. But that is what I mean. It's like someone has something that they don't want for whatever reason. They can't afford it. They don't like it. But whatever the reason is, they don't want it. Well, that's how I feel about it. But what I'm trying to tell you is if there's all these people who keep yelling that he's not my president, and since he is, if you really don't want him to be your president, why don't you get him impeached? If you really don't want him to be your president, why don't you organize a recall? Quit sitting back and letting life happen to us and letting politics happen to us and take control of our own destiny, our own future, our own lives, our own country by getting involved, by doing something, making a call, sending an email, sending a text message, signing a petition. Get involved, knock on doors, organize. Organize, 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 organize. That's what I was telling my church the other day. The podcast is not going to build my church. A radio ad is not going to build my church. Facebook is not going to build our church. But if I could get a group of 5 people to go door to door and knock on doors and talk about our church to people in the neighborhoods, it will build our church. If we could tell them, hey, we feed the hungry on Fridays. We clothe the naked on Fridays. And we have a service on Fridays at 7 o'clock at Yes We Can Worship Center at 5857 South Central Avenue, Suite 180. This will build the church. This will do it. And this can do it. And it must do it. And so, get involved politically. If you don't like something that is going on or is going on, let it be known. Let your voice be heard. Lift your voice. Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with the harmony of thee. I sing, facing the rising sun of our new day begun, and on my young to live and hear heaven ring. popular song. Yeah, I'm sure I got many of the lyrics wrong, but just came to my mind. Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring, ring with the you know. I'm in the mood this morning, y'all. So God bless you. Listen, God bless you. Let me ask you one more time. We'll see if anybody does it. If you heard this podcast, if you are listening to this podcast, if Spreaker.com is not lying to me about our listeners, would you please be kind enough to call or text 213-377-8681 and simply tell me that you heard my podcast, or send me an email at shermantmanning@gmail.com and tell me that you heard the podcast. May God bless you and heaven smile upon you.